And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, today we're going to talk about a game called Enclave. Now Enclave, what does it say on the back of the box? The world after the apocalypse. The inspiration of this game was novel. It's from a novel called Zakon Krankia Sviata. You have snatchers in this game, and you're trying to do really weird stuff. Honestly, time and time again, I've looked over the theme of this game and I don't understand it. All I know is that it's post-apocalyptic. Okay, well, that is what it is. Let's show you how to play the game and see if the game's fun. Okay, there's a lot going on in this game, and I'm not going to be able to give you really a complete rules explanation, so let's give you a basic overview. In essence, this is a worker placement game in which each player is going to have a certain number of workers that they're going to be putting on the board to do different things. Now, the way that you're going to do that is at the beginning of each round, players are going to take turns putting these numbered tokens on the little nuclear signs that are on the board. And that's basically going to determine the order in which these locations are going to resolve. Then players are going to look at a handful of tiles that they have, pick one, and reveal it. And at the same time, players are going to put out their workers in different spots at these places where you'll be able to do various things. Now, when you put these out, you'll be putting them out in the player turn order, and so you'll have player turn order up here. And so if two people go to the same place, then whoever's higher in player turn order will go to that, will get to put their workers out first. Once all the players have put out their workers, then you will resolve these in turn order. So this would be 1, you do this area first, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5. This area here is just a way for you to get the money, which is critical for the game. And the top spot also gives you knowledge points. Knowledge are a big deal. Over here you can change turn order if you go to this spot. These two places allow you to buy different cards. Some of them are one-time use. Others of them will kind of buff up your character. Now let's take a closer look here. Each of the players has a character card, or I don't know what the official name for these cards are, but on this you keep track of several things. First of all, you're going to keep track of your health. Now you actually have a little marker here to show where your health, it shows your health actual and then the health that you can possibly get. So your health can go down or up, but when you have different enhancements, you can have a higher maximum health or a lower maximum health. And the same thing over here with brain power. And then there's two special tracks over here which will let you know how many trap cards you can have in your hand, or anti-trap cards, and how much money you can get from various things. So basically this is just a way to keep track of your upgrades. Most of the game revolves around two sections. Right here is boarding into the Enclave. When you go to this spot, you're going to basically be attempting a mission. And the mission has rewards. Like this one here gives you a tree token. It allows you to increase one of your track levels. And it will give you one of these knowledge tokens. I'm sorry, no, it gives you a reward card. And these reward cards are really good cards. They give, like this one here gives you money or lets you increase one of your levels of the ability. However, you have to fight your way through two traps. So when this happens, you'll turn over, and you decide to do it, you'll turn over two trap cards. This one makes your brain power go down by 5. This one here makes your life points go down by 5. Now you can use things to make this less problematic. You have different anti-trap cards. Each player starts with them, and you can buy more of them. So you can kind of mitigate this, because if you die as it goes in the midst of this mission, then you don't accomplish the mission and you failed, and that's no good at all. And you really need the rewards of these missions. So you can try one of the face-up missions when you go to this spot, or you can take one from the deck. The reason you want these is because you want to go over to the tree, it's called. And on the tree are different cards, and there's a certain number of victory points that can be given out at each tree. And you are going to be turning in these knowledge points for victory points. Now, you can only do that on level 1. There's also a special ability depending on what tree card is there. Like Loki here lets you steal something from somebody else. If you use these tree tokens, you can move from up to another level. And when you go up to another level, you'll be able to take some of the victory points that are available at that level. the person who moves it to the final spot actually gets a tree token, and if you get 4 of these tree tokens, you win the game. Other than that, the game will end after a certain number of rounds, and players will get points equal to all the points that they've gotten from these as time goes by, and then whoever has the most knowledge tokens, whoever has the most tree tokens, etc. Points are kept track up here at the top of the board. You'll notice that the point track is not very long. I believe, what does it go to? 30, and whoever has the most points is the winner of the game. Oh boy. This is just, it has some cool ideas, but it's kind of like whoever designed this game took a bunch of mechanisms and threw them in one game. First of all, the graphic design in this gaming is incredibly hindering. Incredibly hindering. You're trying to look, they have these really tiny icons on this big board. It's a cluttered board. It's just very difficult to figure out what's going on and look at the cards. They're not easily distinguishable. It's easy to bump the little pieces. I mean, it's a graphic design mess, really. Then that's coupled on top of a theme which is nigh incomprehensible. So we just, okay, I think we're kind of hackers in the future, kind of, but why are we going to a tree? Not sure. Secondly, the game, it looks like they took a bunch of mechanisms and just threw them in a box. Hey, let's have simultaneous selection. Hey, let's do worker placement. Hey, let's change the order of where to worker placement. All that sounds good, but what it does is it really drags out a game. And it also can cause one player to inadvertently just kind of ruin a round. For example, the round where the phase, the area, and I don't even remember what these areas are called, the area where you go to fight traps and get stuff, you really want that to come near the end of a turn so that you can go buy the stuff, that you can go in there and actually get it done. But someone could make that first. There's a spot near the top of the board where you can look at the cards so you can see which cards are coming ahead of time. And someone could say that's last. Well, that's not so useful. Well, yeah, it's useful for the next turn, but everything is so slow. It works like this. All right, let's put out these out. Oh, I'll put one here, and finally people put the 5 out. Okay, now it's simultaneous select. Ready, set, go. And everyone's like, they put them out there. Okay, and you do that several times to get all your workers out. Then each spot is like, okay, what card do you want to buy? And then I'll pick a card. Now, what card? Wait, we got to refresh the cards a little bit. Okay, what card do you want to buy? I'm not sure. No. And all this to get a few points. It's a much ado about nothing game. And I think a lot of the stuff in the game is really cool idea. This is another example of a game which has a cool idea, but suffers from a severe lack of a guiding, developing hand. A developer needed to come into this game and say, hang on, and just cut out giant chunks of it and make it a much more streamlined, better game. As it is, this game has the look and the feel of something more complex than it really is. So, I'm not a huge fan of post-apocalyptic themes, but I wouldn't mind it so much. I think it certainly is a refreshing idea for a board game, but the theme doesn't work very well. Graphic design is bad, too many mechanisms, and the game isn't very satisfying in the long run, so can't recommend Enclave.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door!